Order. March 11, 2025, City of Daytona Beach Special Magistrate meetings. At the outset, I've reviewed and approved our January 14, 2025 minutes. Do we have any announcements before we get into this morning's agenda?
Yes, sir. Starting on page 2, case number 2, SMG 0325-55 will be appearing via Zoom. Page number 3, case number 6, SMG 03-25-50 will be appearing also via Zoom. Page number 5, case number 14, SMG 03-25-58, 528 Elm Street is in compliance March 6, 2025. Also on the same page, case number 16, SMG 03-25-60, Indigo Drive parcel is in compliance 3/11/25. On page number 6, case number 20, SMG 02-25-43 will also be appearing via Zoom. Page number 7, case number 22, SMG 01-25-06, 275 Ridgewood Avenue LLC, 275 North Ridgewood Avenue, compliance March 10th, 2025. And page number 10, case number 33, SMG 09-24-159 will also be appearing via Zoom. Page number 12, case number 44, SMG 01-25-23, South Martin Luther King Boulevard parcel is in compliance 3/7/25.
Was case 44?
I'm sorry?
Case 44?
Yes, sir. And that's it.
All right, is case 34 a Zoom appearance as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I've been asked to address case number 33 first. Do we know if we're ready for that case?
Has he showed up on Zoom? Nope.
Okay. All right, well, all those representatives for the City of Daytona Beach will be testifying at this morning's proceedings. Please stand and be sworn.
You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Okay, we will go to case number 1, Pinewood Cemetery. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing respondent, what say the city? Yes, sir.
Morning, John Stinson, Code Inspector with the city. My qualifications are on file. This is a field-generated case. The violation was an unmaintained retaining wall. The property owner was notified on 16 October 2024. Compliance was due on 13 November 2024. My last visit to the property was on March 4th, 2025. Property remains in non-compliance. We're asking for an order of non-compliance. Compliance by next cutoff.
All right, noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of our inspector and the photographs presented, I find the respondent to be in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 2 is a Zoom appearance. Marc-Andre Mitchell. Is there anyone here
Yes,
for
sir.
the respondent?
Yes, sir.
One moment, Your Honor. I have iPhone and Samsung. These are quite frankly not helpful. Case number 2, which one are you? Which one are you?
Case number 2, Marc-Andre Mitchell or Michelle.
I'm waving at the camera currently.
No, what do you name? Okay, never mind. I see that you're Samsung. Give me a second, Your Honor. Pardon me.
Y'all are walking in late. Make sure you're not case number 1. We just disposed of that one. Yes, sir. If you would please state your name and be sworn by our secretary.
Marc-Andre Michel.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Michelle, you agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes, sir.
And I find the respondent in noncompliance, Mr. Inspector. How much time should reasonably be required for the respondent to come into compliance?
By the next cutoff.
Our inspector thinks you ought to be able to have this taken care of by April 2. What say you to that?
The only issue, Judge, is that I live in Broward County and I take care of these issues myself. I will try to make it up to the property this weekend. However, it's very difficult for me to say that I will definitely be there. However, 2 weekends from today, I will have it taken care of.
2 weekends from today, you expect to have it taken care of. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I have interior ceiling disrepair, no heat in unit 2. Is that the nature of the violation?
Yes, sir.
Is this unit occupied?
No, it's not.
Okay. All right, fine. I will allow the respondent until April 2, 2025 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Since you're out of town, let me point out to you, you get in trouble time-wise, if you contact the inspector and let him know what's going on, he'll be your best friend if it turns out you need additional time. Please keep that in mind.
Yes, sir.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Case number 3, Uzair Shuja. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Inspector Garcia, credentials on file with the city. This is field generated, working without building permits. Posted on November 13, 2024. Compliance due date was November 23rd, 2024. Last seen February 26, 2024 for non-compliance. Compliance by next cutoff.
Okay. Noting the absence of the respondent based upon our inspector's testimony as well as the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 4, Shafat and Carol M. Ahmed. Anyone here for the respondent? Seeing a
Actually,
respondent, what say the city?
actually, they're ill. I've been in constant contact with them. Okay, they have a caretaker, so they're not going to be here
You're
this
pretty
morning.
diligent about showing up at these things.
Yes, sir. Okay. As pertains to 755 Derbyshire, this was a citizen complaint. Site inspection was conducted on August the 22nd, 2024, where it was determined the property had the following violations: a broken window, roof, damaged soffit, boarded windows. The property was notified on August the 28th, 2024. The property was to be in compliance by September the 28th, 2024. My last date of inspection was March the 7th, 2025. Result of my inspection was non-compliance. I've had contact with the property owner. Staff requests finding of non-compliance compliance by next cutoff.
Based upon the testimony of our inspector and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 5, Michael Rich. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Good morning, Sarah Kirk, Inspector with the City. My credentials are on file. This is a complaint-generated case for unpermitted window, inoperable windows, egress doors are not weather-tight, inoperable lock on windows, missing insect screens, collapsed ceiling, cracks in ceiling, walls, peeling paint, loose flooring, no heat, and missing smoke detectors. First notification was 9/5/24. Compliance was due 10/5/24. I did a site visit on March 7th. The property is still in noncompliance. Staff's recommending a finding of noncompliance with compliance by the next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 6, a Zoom appearance, Eagle Light Real Estate LLC. Yes, ma'am. If you would please state your name and be sworn.
Hi, Erica Timms here for case number 6.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Eric, can you state your name again?
Erica Timms.
Oh. Is the party behind you going to testify?
If you need him to, he can.
Okay, he'll need to state his name.
Oh,
Anol Eaglite,
I'm sorry, can you spell your name?
ANOL EGALITE.
Okay. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. What's your affiliation with Eagle Light Real Estate LLC?
business manager.
Very good. Do you agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
We are aware of the violation. We've been working with the city over the last, I think, like 9 months at this point. We had a lot of back and forth with the engineering documents, needing to make some updates and changes. We've submitted them all. At this point, our permit is in a stance of waiting for payment. The fines were about $18,000 more than we were quoted originally. So that is the current holdup. We're looking at about $44,000 worth of fees and permits between the city and the county.
Okay, well, somewhere in there, I heard enough to gather or to find the respondent in noncompliance. And how much time should be reasonably required for the respondent to come into compliance, Mr. Inspector?
I think they could be in compliance by next cutoff.
The city is suggesting you ought to be able to bring this into compliance by April 2, 2025. What say you to that?
Pay $45,000 by April 2nd, 2025?
Last time I checked, I wasn't on your bank account, so I don't know how to answer that.
I'm asking you if that's what you mean, sir.
I have no idea. I have no idea what your situation is. I've got a list of violations here that require physical repairs, and the question is, are you going to accomplish them by April 2 of 2025?
We have no repairs left to make, sir. Everything's been done. At this point, we have to pay and get our inspections completed.
Okay, is that your understanding as to the status of the?
Yes, it is.
So you have to pay for these permits in order to get these permits to then bring you into compliance? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And you're telling me that the only thing you've got left to do is payment?
Pay and then they'll schedule our inspections, correct.
Okay.
But the work is done. We just have to be able to pay. And like I said, it is significantly more than what we were quoted when we called and asked for an estimate.
All right, well, I don't know where this $44,000 came from or what it's for. I suppose.
It's $25,000 worth of impact fees from Volusia County and $19,000 worth of fees from City of Daytona, $11,000 of which we were told was to add us to the billing systems for sewer and water.
Well, that having been said, I'll order the respondent to be in compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. I hate to sound so heartless, but I don't know what these expenses are. I don't know why you've incurred them. I don't know why you've had to incur them. I can only assume they were part of the process when it came to doing whatever work you did on the property. So all that having been said, all I can suggest to you is, if you're suggesting you don't have $44,000, is to find out whatever recourse you may have available to you. And if that means there's going to be additional time required for you to pursue that, then let us know that. If you're just going to throw up your hands and say, well, I don't have $44,000.
No, we're definitely not going to throw up our
First
hands.
off,
That's not
don't
our,
interrupt me again.
I'm sorry.
If what you're going to tell us is there's some sort of recourse available to you that you want to pursue, by all means, let us know that. Otherwise, I guess you've got until April 2 to come into compliance.
Okay, no, we do not intend to throw our hands up. We would like to come up with a solution. One of the things that was recommended to us that we asked today, if it was possible, is can the city put part of what we're trying to do is refinance the property to pull the equity out so that we can pay this, but we cannot do that with the existing open permit. And I know that we cannot close the permit in the meantime, but is it possible to put a lien on the property from the city that would be paid when the refinance happens?
I don't know the answer to those questions. That's over my pay grade. All I'm trying to explain to you is if there are alternatives that you're trying to pursue and you need a reasonable amount of time to do so, then once I know what they are and once I see you taking action in that direction, then I will take that into consideration should you come up short on this April 2 compliance date.
Okay,
Good luck to you, ma'am.
thank you.
Case number 7, Task Investments Group, LLC. Yes, sir. If you would please state your name and be sworn.
Michael Bretzel.
Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
And your affiliation with Task Investments Group, LLC?
I'm the real estate broker at the management company.
Okay. Do you agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes.
All right, I find the respondent non-compliance. Mr. Inspector, how much time should reasonably be required for the respondent to come into compliance?
By next cutoff.
Inspector is suggesting this ought to be taken care of. You should be able to take care of this by April 2. What say you to that?
Yes, the permits were issued yesterday.
Great. All right, then I'll order the respondent to be in compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Let me remind you, as I do countless others, you run short of time, let him know what's going on, and that might make the road a little easier if you're coming up short.
Great, thank you.
Good luck to you. Case number 8, 1995 Big Island Trust dated August 8, 2020. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Inspector Itanico compliance, credentials are on file. This case was opened on September 27, 2024, a complaint-generated case for dirt and grime, peeling paint, boarded windows, and damaged fascia. First notice was received October 3rd, 2024. Compliance was due by November 3rd, 2024. Last inspection was March 10th, 2025, and the result was non-compliance. There has been no contact with the owner. Staff recommends a finding of non-compliance with compliance due by next cutoff.
Based on our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 9, 1995 Big Island Trust dated August 2, 2020. Once again, I don't see a respondent, so what say the city?
This case was opened September 23rd, 2024. A failed generate case for dirt, grime, peeling paint, damaged exterior walls, damaged fascia, and boarded windows. First notice was received on October 24th, 2024. Compliance was due November 24th, 2024. Last inspection was March 10th, 2025, and the result was non-compliance. There has been no contact with the owner. Staff recommends a finding of non-compliance with compliance due by next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 10, Florida, LLC. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
This case was opened on December 12th, 2024. A complaint generated case for overgrown landscaping, damaged exterior surfaces, work without a permit, trash and debris, rodent infestation, damaged windows, no screens, damaged exterior doors, weak floors, damaged interior surfaces, damaged porch, damaged interior doors, trash and debris on the inside, plumbing systems, missing light covers, no electrical faceplates, egress, and no fire alarms. First notice was received on October 16th, 2024. Compliance was due September 16th, 2024. Last inspection was March 7th, 2025 of the exterior, and the result was non-compliance. There has been no contact with the owner. Staff recommends a finding of non-compliance with compliance due by next cutoff.
Is this a single-family residence?
Yes.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 11, MGB Real Estate Investment Corporation. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Good morning, Inspector Bostwick, credentials on file. All right, this was a citizen's complaint opened on November 20th of 2024. Overgrown vacant lot with trash and debris. First notification was on November 23rd of 2024. Compliance was due by December 3rd of 24. Last day of reinspection was March 5th of 2025. Result non-compliance. There's been no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 12, LAD Trust Holdings, LLC, and Jason Herman. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this case was field generated, opened on January 15th of 2025. Overgrown vacant lot with trash and debris, dilapidated fence. First notification was on January 23rd of 25. The property was posted. Compliance was due by February 3rd. Last day of reinspection was March 6th. Result non-compliance. I have been in contact with Mr. Herman. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 13, LAD Trust Holdings, LLC, and Jason Herman.
All right, this case was field generated, opened on January 15th of 2025. Overgrown vacant lot, trash and debris, dilapidated fence. First notification was January 23rd. Property was posted. Compliance was due by February 3rd. Last day of reinspection was March 6th. Result in non-compliance. I've been in contact with Mr. Herman. Staff requests a final non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 15, Clear Westview, LP. Is there anyone here on behalf of the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this case was field generated, opened on January 21st of 2025. Overgrown vacant lot with trash and debris. First notification was on January 27th. Compliance was due by February 7th. The last day of reinspection was March 6th. Result non-compliance. There's been no contact with the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent to be in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 17, Arthur J. Rockwell and Robin Hardman. Is there anyone here on behalf of the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, This case was field generated, opened back on September 24 of 2024. Commercial vehicles parked on an unapproved surface. First notification was on October 1st of 2024. Property was posted. Compliance was due by October 11th of 2024. Last day of reinspection was March 5th of 2025. The result is non-compliance. There's been contact with the owner. Staff requests a file non-compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent based upon the inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance. In order the respondent to come into compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 18, Arthur J. Rockwell and Robin Hardman. Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this case was field generated, opened on September 24 of 2024. Commercial vehicles parked on unapproved surface. First notification was on October 1st of 2024. Property was posted. Compliance was due by October 11th. Last day of reinspection was March 5th of 2025. Is non-compliance. I've been in contact with the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance to the next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance. Order the respondent to come into compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 19, Emma J. Morris. Anyone here for the respondent? Yes, sir. If you would please state your name and be sworn.
Matt Morris.
Morris? Raise your hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Your affiliation with the respondent, Emma Morris?
My mother.
Okay. Very good. Any of these violations existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Excuse me?
You agree these violations existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Well, no, it really wasn't about that. It really was about the police seen a flyer where somebody out saying I was having an event at my spot, but I didn't know anything about it, so somehow they had code enforcement come down, write up a bunch of stuff, and threaten me to if anybody show up to my property without having a permit, they're gonna fine me $10,000 and all that. So I called my friend Gary Jones. He had all his friends. I told the sites, explained what's going on. He told me to cut the grass, work on the doors. Like I told him, it ain't been a window in that spot since '93. The plaster fell off in 2019, 2020. It's been boarded up the whole time. But then all these violations came. I talked to him on the phone, and I told him I was getting the grass cut in the doors, told him I ain't even been open because I've been getting harassed by the police. So that's why I closed the business. But then all of this came up. After I got the grass cut and the doors done, I thought everything was through. Then I get a letter in the mail when I had to come here. Because the first original letter, I never got it in the first place. It was taped to the door of the business.
Okay. Did we have overgrown weeds when we got the notice of violation?
Yeah, and I had got it cut and everything, and
Okay.
I got the doors done, but
All right,
since then, they
all
done
right,
tried to
you're
break
getting
back
way
in.
ahead of me. Hang on, slow down.
Okay.
You're doing a lot more work than you need to. Okay, I find the respondent in non-compliance. Okay, you're telling me you took care of the weeds. You're telling me what's the status of the damaged window?
It's been boarded up. That's what I said. It ain't been a window there since '93. The plaster fell off in like 2019.
Okay, what's the story on the damaged front door?
Yeah, they've been study trying to pry open the bottom of the front door.
Who's they?
Whoever been trying to break in the building.
Okay. And damaged exterior surfaces, what's that about?
Right there by the front door. When the door swelled up after the storm and I opened the door, the plaster fell off. Right by the front door.
So you're telling me this is an unoccupied, unused building?
Yeah, it's not being used at the moment.
Well, my point is, as long as it's boarded up and secured to city standards, that's as much as you usually have to do with it.
Right.
So you might just want to check with the city, and if you're not planning on using it, but in any event. Okay, so you told me there was stuff that had to be done, so I find the respondent in non-compliance. How much time should reasonably be required? And I'm only talking about what's on here.
Right.
Okay, good enough. I just want to make sure you don't throw the universe in there. Okay, how much time should reasonably be required to do what he needs to do?
By next cutoff.
All right, can you finish up whatever needs to be done by April 2?
Yes.
Okay, I'll order the respondent to be in compliance by April 2 or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. If it's an unoccupied, unused building, you might just want to check with the city to find out what it takes to secure it to city standards, and that may very well be the end of it as far as what you need to do, but you need to talk to this gentleman about that.
All right.
Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Case number 20, Big Jam Holdings LLC. Is there anyone here? Oh, it's a Zoom hearing.
Yes, Your Honor. My entries are A33. I have an iPhone for phone number. Is that you, sir?
Okay, so you're on case 33 right now?
No, my participants are 30. I think it is.
Whose idea was it to put this wooden wall here?
For you, case 20, you're on the screen now. Okay, we're going to have YouTube. iPhone 386 and then 16. Is that you, sir? I'm sending you. There you go.
Andrew Green, Fig Jam Holdings, 120 South Martin Luther Junior Boulevard.
He is case 20. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yes, sir, if you would please state your name and be sworn by our secretary.
Andrew Joseph Green.
I'm sorry, say your first name again?
Andrew Joseph Green.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, what is your affiliation with Big Jam Holdings?
I'm the owner of Fig Jam Holdings.
Very good. Do you agree these violations exist or occurred as stated in the notice violation?
Yes.
All right, I find respondent in noncompliance. All right, let's ask our inspector how much time he should reasonably be required to come into compliance.
He's working on the demo permit, so it should be by next cutoff.
All right, our inspector seems to think you ought to be able to have this taken care of by April 2. What say you to that?
I need some more time, Your Honor, because I just got notification yesterday I have to get a asbestos inspection on the property before they'll permit the demolition permit.
Any reason why we can't go to May 7th on this?
Yes, sir.
How about May 7th? Will you have it done by then?
Hope so, Your Honor. Thank you.
Let's say yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. All right. I'll order the respondent to be in compliance by May 7, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. If you get jammed up, call your inspector, let him know what's going on. He'll be your best friend if running out of time.
Yes, thank you very much.
Good luck to you.
Thanks.
Case number 21, Pelican Bay Sports Club, LLC. Yes, sir. If you would, please state your name and be sworn.
My name is Nick. Oh, sorry. Nick, N-I-C-K, last name dot D-A-T-T. I'm the managing owner. Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Dodd, do you agree these violations existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
I don't agree that all of the items listed are violations. For example, the lights from the light poles, they haven't existed any lights there on the poles for years. It was taken down by the previous owners, removed. It's not lighted courts anymore, but the surface does need resurfacing. That I agree with.
All right, then I find the respondent in noncompliance. Mr. Inspector, how much time should reasonably be required?
By next cutoff.
Next cutoff. The next cutoff's April 2, 2025. Sounds like you're going to have an argument regarding lights.
See, there's drums of paint that are sitting there. We hired a contractor 2 years ago to do the project. They started the project. Then the hurricane came about 2 years ago. They took off after we already paid them and went to Fort Myers, worked on some, I guess, construction there. Took a lot more money because of the hurricane. So we've been trying to get them back to finish the job because we already paid them out $25,000. So that's what we're counting on. We finally got in contact with them again a few weeks ago, and we're hoping them resuming the work in the next week or two.
Well, I guess we stand on your neck and you stand on theirs, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as a practical matter, if your contractor you've already made was here and ready to start work in a reasonable period, would you expect the work to be done by April 2, 2025?
We're going to need a few more weeks because it's about 3 weeks worth of work, and that cutoff is basically 3 weeks away.
All right,
so.
we're going to go ahead and order respondent to be in compliance by May 7, 2025.
Okay.
Or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of $1,000 per day thereafter. As callous as it may seem, the city is not concerned with your financial problems with your contractor. They need the work done.
Yep.
I've taken additional time. If it's developed as you go along, let your know what's going on, so at least he'll inform.
Okay.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Case number 3, Panora Properties. On it, what say the city?
The owner, the permit into the April cutoff.
2025 to come into.
Had
Into the April cutoff.
2025 to come into.
had numerous comments with the owner. On yesterday, they actually solidified a numerous comments with the owner. On yesterday, they actually solidified a painting crew that proposed art into the weather. They couldn't, but they will be out there painting. And with that being said, the information I received.
Current order of non-compliance. Allow the respondent until April 2, 2020.
Said the information I received.
Current order of non-compliance. Allow the respondent until April 2, 2025 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 25, LC. Hey, sorry about that. Yes, sir. If you would please state your name and be sworn.
Steve Iturriaga, 613 Hillside Avenue, the owner.
All right.
The owner.
All right. I think I'm here for a progress report. Okay.
So we've submitted, we've been trying to get a permit on this project for some time now. Last time I was here, the city was requesting several things, engineering studies for the trusses, calculations for the HVAC, and some product codes. All of that submitted to the city, and now we are on hold waiting for the city to either issue us a permit or give us additional items that they may require to issue the permit.
And refresh my memory. What's the
Required to issue the permit.
And refresh my memory. What's the significance?
To issue the permit.
And refresh my memory. What's the significance?
Issued. First step is point. I believe that the code violation is gone once the building's been demolished, and then we're in the process of rebuilding with the building department. We're going to rebuild it a completely new demolish it.
No, he has to.
So when basically expect to have a permit in hand.
And I think that by next cutoff date here, should have a permit in hand unless the comes out with something new that is unexpected. We've
Okay,
given
if
them
you have
everything
your
they
permit
need
in
to
hand-
demolish the building, but I would think 30 days would be plenty of time to get that done. Once the permit's in hand, the building is ready to come down, and we got everybody kind of lined up and ready to have a permit in hand. Like I said, something crazy the city wants that it's going to take time. You know, when they ask us for things from other sites.
Okay, Bill, is there anything about this building that poses any particular hazard? Is it cured to city standards? Anything about this building that poses any particular hazard? All right, then I'll continue this matter to our next meeting on April 8, 2025 for the progress report. Hopefully at that point in time, we can set a final compliance date, would mean demolition. So hopefully you'll be able to educate me on that.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you. Case number 26, Denise T. Diabato. Good morning. If y'all state your names and be sworn, please.
Denise Sabato, and this is Mike Manderville. Raise your right hand. You swear from the testimony you're about to provide the truth, nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Mike Mander, what?
Manderville.
Ville?
Manderville, yes.
Okay, who's going to be speaking here?
Me.
Okay. Here for the imposition of a fine. Let's hear from the city.
Inspector Curtis Wins, which was on file. Respondent was notified of violation February the 11th, 2023. Since January hearing, no progress was made. I've had contact with the owner. Last date of reinspection was March the 10th, 2025. Staff recommends a fine of $100 a day to a cap of $1,000.
That doesn't sound good. What's the problem?
Well, part of that is not correct.
Okay.
We have been making progress.
What
Just
progress
not
have you
progress
made?
that he has seen. I had to take apart pull the main beam away from the house and attach the ledger because the contractors didn't get the ledger all the way attached to the house. So I had to pull that away and remove all the hangers that were attached to the main beam, or take the screws out anyway so I could slide it back a little bit. I had to rebolt and add bolts that they missed in the studs of that right side of the deck there and that part that sticks out of the house, because the ledger was actually sticking out
How
about
current is this photograph?
I took that yesterday.
Okay.
So we've given up so much time. Every weekend I'm working on this thing. I'm only one person. I can only do what I can do.
Okay,
Right
what
now,
is
I've
left
been
to do?
clamped. A lot of work's left to do.
Such as?
Right now I'm in the middle of clamping the beam back together.
Well, hold
'cause-
it now. You're here for a dilapidated deck, stairway, boarded window, no rental license.
Okay, can we go back to that for a second and start
Is
from the
all this
beginning?
necessary for a dilapidated deck and stairway?
It's all for the deck.
Okay, that's fine.
So I don't want to be disrespectful or anything like that, but can we go back to the beginning of this?
No. Why do I want to do that?
Because in the beginning, he came for, the call was from our neighbor because we had an argument with our neighbor, and he
Okay, I don't
called
care
for.
about that. You're
Okay,
here now.
but he called for doing work without permit.
Okay.
And then the code enforcement, Mr. Wiggins, came out and he cited code enforcement violations of dilapidated deck and said we didn't have a permit. We actually did have a permit. We've already started the project. So according to the
You'd
building.
already started the dilapidated decks project?
Correct.
Okay.
We've had that ongoing.
All
We
right.
had permit already.
And
for
you
it.
started on that one?
I don't remember the actual start date. It was back like 20, I think.
Back in what?
In the year of 20, I think. Year
2020?
Yeah, 2020.
5 years ago?
According to the building department, when they give you a permit, they tell you there is no time frame. As long as you keep a permit going, there is no time frame. You just got to make progress here.
So we've been working on this for 5 years?
There's been hick a long way on, because we've said on the record before, we raised part of the house and shim up to the house over here as the side of the house was sagging. We've had to, in the meantime, we had to get a roof put on, windows put in upstairs, the house painted. There's not remodeling the house.
What
Obviously.
is left to do and how long is it going to take
For the deck, I have no idea how
for
long.
complaints?
Well, that was part of my point I was getting back to. A lot of these things were already in compliance. They should have never been.
Okay,
We shouldn't.
what is
What I'm
left to
trying to
do
get to
and
is
how long
we
is it gonna
should
take?
be here in the first place.
What is, okay, well, you're here.
Okay.
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 What's left to do and how long is it going to
We
take?
have to finish the deck.
A deck that's been in the works for 5 years now?
Yes.
Okay. How much time is it going to take to finish it?
Oh no. Like I said, I work every weekend on
You
it.
don't know.
I'm going.
I'm going to fault whatever he says. So this is your opportunity to speak your piece. If you don't know is what you've got to offer, then he's going to have a green light to whatever he says, because I won't hear any refuting argument from you. So I'm going to ask you one more time. How long is it going to finish or to come compliant?
6 months.
6 months.
6 months.
And what's going to happen over those 6 months?
I'm going to keep working on it and get it done. Right now, I'm clamping the beam together.
Inspector, when, in your opinion, did the respondents start pursuing coming into compliance in earnest? And by that I mean, when along the way have they actually seemed to be making progress? How far was it?
Well, again, the case opened in 2023. We're
Yeah, I
at
know.
11/23.
House been built 5 times upside down by
Correct.
then.
It was a few things that he did do. Like I said, they had the grass, outside storage, that kind of thing.
I don't even consider
Right,
that
but
anything.
they have done a few things that I actually gave them, extended the time for them to come into compliance. Again, we came here in January for this here deck, and you gave them to March to come into compliance. And so my picture on yesterday looks the same way as it did in January. Same photo, it looks the same way. So again, the staff recommends $100 a day to a cap of $10,000.
This house occupied?
Yes. Homesteaded, we live it. What you're saying is, when you keep calling and talking to Denise, and she has no idea what I'm doing. She has no idea about this stuff, what's going on in construction. So, I mean, if you would talk.
I'm not a contractor. I'm not one that builds decks, but
If I may, sir, when my initial concern today was this is so stressful and overbearing of the building department. The one's been repealed. We've been moved to preempted state. We've been renting, so we're losing rent. This has been the state law come out, and this should be preempted to the state. We've violated in our first anymore. We want the to super department tells you take as much.
2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. When you're back in here for a fine, if this is what you want to bring, that's fine. I'll do. When you're back in here for a fine, if this is what you want to bring, that's fine. I'll do what I need to do. You know, you want to come back here and say, okay, this is all we got to do, and this is when we're going to do it, and this is when we're going to do it, and this is when it's set up, and it'll happen very, very shortly. Then I'll hear you. When it's set up, and it'll happen very, very shortly. Then I'll hear you.
Screw when it's over.
What do you want?
At the city
First, your contractor, you'd be saying your inspector's interfering with my contractor.
No, I wouldn't.
He doesn't have
No,
the
I
right to
wouldn't.
do that, and you'd be right when you said that.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, in any event.
We intend, what is it?
Ordering the respondent come into compliance by May 7, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine up to $1,000 per day thereafter.
Okay,
We're
we
getting
just-
to the point where there's no alternative left, but
Complaint preempting to the state.
What was your last name?
be sworn by our secretary.
There hasn't been any progress. However, the property is almost completed, and there was just some issues with zoning. So we're asking to amend 60.
Zoning issue.
The zoning issue was, originally, it was slotted for what they were building or rehabbing the building for, but I guess the end of it, the code has changed or the zoning has changed. So that was the holdup of moving forward previously. Now we are in the position of moving forward. The partnership has been dissolved with rehab or complete the rest of the building. We've all hired a contractor, we have here, and he's going to be moving forward with business.
Okay, we're looking at a before and after
That was
pictures.
before.
Yes.
Yeah, that is before. And the other picture is after.
What'd you turn it into?
This is trying to make large or
What do you need?
Take the 60 days that she has.
That's in,
90, but
is the building occupied?
No.
no.
Well, I'm happy $1,000 per day thereafter. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
$1,000 per day thereafter. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Case number 28, Bat Development LLC. Okay, this matter for position five, seeing responsibility.
First notification was 4/7/23. Since the last hearing, I have had a little bit of contact, just missed voicemails, phone tag, but there's been no progress. So staff is recommending a fine of $100 a day to a max $15,000.
Based on our inspector's testimony, I'm finding the respondent the sum of $100 per day, commencing March 6, 2025, and that fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the amount of the fine is reached the sum of $15,000 or the property is in compliance. Case number 29, Darren Ottman. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, say the city.
Okay. First notification 5/13/24. Since the last hearing, I had no contact and there's no progress. Staff is recommending a fine of $100 a day to a max $15,000.
Based upon the testimony of our inspector, I'm finding the respondent the sum of $100 per day, commencing February 6, 2025. The fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $15,000 or property is in compliance. Case number 30, Fiesta LLC. Is there anyone here to respond? Not seeing a respondent, what's the city?
Good morning, Mariah Quinn, Code Compliance Inspector, City of Daytona Beach. My credentials are on file. The respondent was first notified on August 10th, 2024. Since the last hearing, there has been no contact with the property owner. The property is occupied. Papers started at the property that were confirmed to require a build permit, and a stop work order was issued on March 7th, 2025. As of this morning, no permit has been applied for. Staff recommends a fine $100 a day with a max of $15,000.
Based upon testimony of our inspector, I'm fining the respondent the sum of $100 per day, commencing March 6, 2025, continuing each day thereafter until the fine reaches the sum of $15,000 or the property is brought into compliance. Case number 31, R&J Estates, LLC. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Yes, ma'am. If you would please be sworn, Secretary.
Thank you. Name Rosa Alvarado.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Morning. The response was first notified on February 28th, 2024. Since the last hearing, I have had contact with the property owners. This property remains unoccupied. The property is being evaluated for assistance under the Elevate Florida program through the Florida Division of Emergency Management. Staff recommends amended to the May cutoff to allow the respondents time to go through the application process before determining a compliance date.
You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm sorry, what was the cutoff date you were?
May compliance, May 7th.
All right. Based upon our inspector's presentation and the consent of the respondent, I'm amending our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent to May 7, 2025 to come into compliance or Magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Good luck to you.
Can I have a question?
Sure.
Since with this application is gonna take probably 6 months, and I don't know if they're gonna be able to help us on lifting the house. A friend of us asked to buy the house and do everything, lift the house, put everything code, but I don't know if we're allowed to sell the house at this point.
You don't know if you're allowed to sell the house.
Yeah.
Well, advice. So you probably need to consult an attorney. I suspect the answer is you can sell the house to whoever you want as long as you make full disclosure as to the status of the property, both with regard to the elevation problems it has, as well as the pending building zone issues. Now, three Karpinski's, right? All right, then let's hear from our inspector.
The respondent was first notified on January 18th, 2024. I have had contact with the property. It is working its way through.
Based upon our inspector's present amending our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until May 7, 2025 to come into non-compliance to allow the respondent until May 7, 2025 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. It would be a Zoom appearance for RimSim Incorporated. Well, case number, so you don't have RimSim Inc.?
No.
Let's go to this. And this case number 34?
Correct.
All right, well, let's take, well, just in case, I've been told this case 33 is framed by Zoom, so we'll come back to that one. Let's go to case 34. Covenant Unit, Mr. Donaldson, this matter continued to compliance state.
Yes, sir.
So, Counselor, what's the progress?
Yeah, so we,
Continued to compliance state.
yes, sir.
So, Counselor,
we-
what's the progress?
Yeah, so we have contracted with Samsung Demolition the last time, or if we would, we will get their due diligence and the only from what I understand, in terms of the accidents and the tree. So we anticipate the demo to be done within the next 60 days.
Within the next what?
60 days.
Okay. What say the city?
I have had no contact from the owner since the hearing in November, and in 2 months, we'll just set a compliance date for the May cutoff.
All right. Then I'm going to amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until May 7, 2025 to come into compliance. Should get jammed up. All right. Or inspectors get up and down and up and down. Okay. RimSim Inc., the imposition of a fine.
Owner,
Our inspector's testimony. I'm fining the respondent the sum of $100 paid, commencing February 6, 2025, and that time will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the property is in compliance. RE Equity Investment Group LLC. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Was first notified. The last building inspection was on July 8th, 2020. The last building inspection was on July 8th, 2024, when the project was put on hold for resubmission. Revised plans were resubmitted to the building department on February 19th, and they were returned because additional information was required. This was here for a progress report. I have not seen any activity and not maintain property. Staff recommends a fine of $200 a day with a cap of $20,000.
What was the compliance date?
Well, I'm not sure that a compliance date was ever set.
Well, I'm looking at one for January 8, 2025.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Then I see an amended order for progress report. All I want to know is we needing to establish another compliance date before we can fine them? Because I don't understand the order that followed our order telling him to be in compliance by January 8th.
Well, you also ordered them to maintain the property, remove all trash and debris. That was on a previous order, along with requiring a progress report.
All right, all I'm looking for is a compliance date you want me to use. What's that be?
I'd say next off, only because,
No, I'm looking for a compliance date, fine them. Isn't that what you were looking for?
yes.
All right, just tell me what the compliance date is that I'm using. Okay, you know what, I'm not comfortable doing that. Come on. It's like we kind of abandoned a state and start talking about what they were doing. So I order the respondent to be in compliance by April 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. That is, I'm amending current amended or non-compliance to do that.
Thank you.
We'll up to the next meeting, take any action if they haven't anything.
Thank you.
Any further action. Case number 36, EYM Realty of Florida LLC. Is there anyone here for the respondent?
Pardon me, Your Honor, at your discretion, we have
Join
correct.
Apparently, we're moving on. Yes, ma'am, if you would please.
Maureen Alani.
I'm sorry, say your name.
Maureen Alani, L-A-N-I.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, your affiliation with EYM Realty Florida LLC?
I am District Manager of Location.
Okay, very good. This matter is here for the position of, let's listen to our inspector.
Good morning, John Stenshold, Inspector of Virginia. My qualifications are on file. This respondent was first notified on 21 September 2024. Since then, I have been in contact via email with most of the involved parties. The latest is I have received an email advising that permits has been issued on March 10th, 2025. That being said, I would like to amend this case to the April cutoff.
Okay, our inspector is saying now that you got your permit, you ought to be by April 2. What say to that?
I do want a little more time
Why?
to complete. We have several different projects, including resurfacing the parking lot. The window you will not do until after we have the stuff.
How much more time are you looking for?
60 days, please.
All right, I'm going to amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until May 7, 2025 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. As you probably heard me say, keep it posted as to what's going on. He'll be your best friend if you run out of time.
I just took over that unit.
Good. Case number 37, Martha M. Bailey.
Okay. This respondent was first notified on 28 August per day to be.
Based upon our inspector's testimony, photographs that have been presented, I'm finding the respondent the sum of $250 per day commencing March 6th. GEA Seaside Investment, based upon our and $15,000. Case 39.
Not occupied, no progress.
I'm finding the EA Seaside Investment
Capped at 15.
February 7 Incorporated. Say the city.
First notified November 5th of 2024. No contact has been made with the owner. The property is not occupied. No progress has been made. Staff's recommending a fine of $200 a day, capped at $15,000.
Noting the absence of the respondent based on the inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I'm finding the respondent sum of $200 per day commencing February 6, 2025. That fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the property is in compliance or the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $15,000. Case 42, DEA Seaside Investment Incorporated. What say the city?
First notified November 5th of 2024. No contact has been made with the owner. The property is not occupied. No progress has been made. Staff's recommending a $200 a day fine capped at $15,000.
Noting the absence of the respondent upon the inspector's testimony, photographs presented, finding the respondent the sum of $200,000 per day. $200 per day. Commencing February 6, 2025, which will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the property is in compliance or the amount of fine has reached the sum of $15,000. When you say no contact owner, is there an owner out there somewhere with GA Seaside
Yeah.
Investment? Is there a human being people talk to? Okay. Maybe I'll live long enough to meet him. Case number 43, David Turek. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing respondent, what say the city?
Good morning again, Inspector Bostwick. Credentials on file. Our respondent was first notified on September 4th of 2024. Since on January's hearing, there's been no contact, minimum progress. Staff requests a fine of $250 a day with a maximum fine of $15,000.
Based upon the inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I'm finding the respondent the sum of $250 per day. Commencing March 6, 2025, that fine will continue to each day thereafter until such time as the property is in compliance or the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $15,000. Case number 45, Thu Win No Min and Ho Win Nok Trong and Na Win. Okay, we've got the name out. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing respondent, what say the city?
Our respondent was first notified on September 19th of 2024. Since January's hearing, there's been no contact. There's been some progress. I think a neighbor might have went there and cleaned it up a little bit. It's not into city standards, so staff request fine $250 a day with a max fine of $15,000.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based on the testimony of our inspector, photograph presented, I'm finding the respondent to $250 per day. Commenced February 6, 2025, and that fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the property is in compliance or the amount of fine has reached the sum of $15,000. Case number 46, William Kisser Estate. Is there anyone for respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Our respondent was notified back on October 14th of 2024. Since January's hearing, there's been no contact or progress. Staff requests a fine of $250 a day, with a max fine of $15,000.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I'm finding the respondent the sum of $250 per day commencing February 6, 2025, and that fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until such time as the property is in compliance or the amount of fine has reached the $15,000. Number 47, Darren Ottman. Anyone for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Our response first notified on November 21st, 2024. Since last January's hearing, there's been no contact or progress. Staff requests a fine of $250 a day with a fine of $15,000.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, the photographs presented, I'm finding the respondent the sum of $250 per day commencing February 6, 2025, and that fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until such time as the property is in compliance or the amount of the fine reaches the sum of $15,000. Case number 48, Daytona Universal Trucking Incorporated. Is there anyone here on behalf of the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, say the city.
Respondent was first notified on November 21st of 2024. Since January's hearing, there's no contact or progress. Staff requests a fine of $250 with a max fine of $15,000.
Noting the absence of the respondent based upon the inspector's testimony and the photograph presented, I'm finding the respondent a sum of $250 per day commencing February 6, 2025, and that fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until such time as the property is brought into compliance. The amount of fine is a sum of $50,000. Case number 49, Sean Harvin. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent. What say the city?
All right, Your Honor, this is a repeat offender case for a vacant lot on Marion Street for overgrown lot trash and debris. The previous case was before the special magistrate on November 8th of 2022, SMG 10-22-295. Owner was fined $250 a day starting on January 5th for a total of $1,250 before he came into compliance on January 10th, 2023. Contact with Deborah Harvins, the owner's mother, last fall, advising the lot needed to be cut and properly maintained. Otherwise, they could be returned to the special magistrate for additional fine. March 5th of 2025. March 5th of 2025.
So you're looking for a fine of $1,000?
Yes, sir.
And this is as a repeat violation.
Correct, sir.
They were previously fined
$250 a day back on January 5th of 2022.
for a total of $1,250.
Yeah, because they were supposed to come into compliance on January 10th. That was the day of the hearing, but it wasn't done until that afternoon on January 10th.
So they're here for a repeat violation.
Correct.
You've gone out and inspected the property 4 times.
Correct.
Still a violation.
Correct.
So we're not getting cooperation from the owner.
You gotta call multiple times. You gotta.
Okay, or we can fine them like $2,500 now because they paid $1,250 before.
Absolutely agree with you.
Okay, I'm finding the respondent sum of $2,500 for a repeat violation, which has been verified by at least 4 inspections by the city of Daytona Beach in the months of March and April, in the months of February and March. Case 50, Deborah Harvin.
This is the mother of the previous case, so it's pretty much the same thing. It's a repeat offender case for a second vacant lot on Marion Street.
It's a second lot,
Yeah, they're both side by side.
so it's a different lot.
Yeah, but they're
Okay, go
side by
ahead.
side. Previous case was for the special magistrate on November 8th of 2022 under SMG 10-22-295. Was fined $250 a day for a total of $1,250. Contact was made last fall with Deborah Harden, reminding her that if they properly maintain the lot, we can bring them back before the special magistrate. So staff requesting fines of $250 a day for the inspections on February 10th, February 19th, February 26th, or March 5th, 2025.
It's a lot joining the lot we just dealt with, case number 49.
Yes, sir.
So it's a separate lot altogether.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm finding the sum of $2,500 as a repeat violation. The respondent having previously been notified as to the nature of the violation and obviously her refusal to correct or maintain it.
Sir.
That's case number 50. Do we have anything else to be brought before special magistrate? I had a question. Oh, I already have a question about GEA. Okay, if we have nothing further, we're adjourned.